What is going on, guys? It is Sneaky here, and today we have another tutorial for Arma Reforger. This is for the Enfusion workbench, and we are just going to go through the simple tutorial to set up a capture and hold mission, and also going to go through the steps to test it in Arma Reforger without actually publishing it to the workshop. So I know that's a point that a lot of people have been having trouble with, so I'm going to assist you with that step as well. There are chapters in the description, aka timestamps. So if you already know how to set up the basic mission and kind of have your feel around getting through the Enfusion workbench and you just need that part, there will be a timestamp for you to skip ahead to that and hopefully have a resolution to your problem. There's also a couple other things people have been getting tripped up from because of a couple known issues. So I'll be walking through those things throughout the tutorial as well. This is the workflow that we are going to be basing this off of, capture and hold setup. As I said, this is just from the Reforger wiki, and it's a text tutorial to walk you through setting up a mission, and we're going to go through it to help people who are brand new and are having difficulty. Hopefully seeing someone do it and walk through the steps will aid them in getting on their modding journey. There are prerequisites. You just need the workbench and capture and hold mod subscription. So if you go into the game and go into workshop, it is at the beginning here, capture and hold, and you can obviously search up here if you need to, but go ahead and click on this, make sure you download it and make sure it's enabled. And that's pretty much all we need from here for the time being. Okay, the next step is making sure you have Arma Reforger tools. You can click in Steam and make sure you have this tools checked, and then you'll see this available. You can go ahead and install it, and we'll go ahead and launch it. And one thing I recommend, the way I have my stuff set up is I created a separate folder for my add-ons and a separate folder for my workshop. I highly recommend at this stage you do the same. So on my, this is just a game dev drive where I put a ton of my projects. Reforger workshop, I just made a folder for that. And this is, if I'm working on a project in Enfusion workbench, it goes into this folder, and then later we'll put it into the add-ons folder. And then near the game will recognize it. And this just makes the process a little bit cleaner in my opinion. So go ahead and make this folder. We're going to go ahead and create a new project. And I recommend doing this without spaces in the project name. So we'll just do I'll just do capture tutorial. And then I'm going to go ahead and set this as in the workshop folder. And then the other very important thing is make sure you have the capture and hold dependency checked, and then hit OK. And this will start the workbench with a dependency for capture and hold. Okay, so now we're inside Enfusion workbench. And what I'm going to do is bring up this tutorial. I'm going to put this to another monitor. As I said, this will be in the description, the link to this. So if you do want to follow along with the text as well as the video, by all means, if you want to just try the text on your own, that's cool too. But I don't want to like flick back and forth. So we'll follow along each step and I'll just show you what we're doing here. So initially, we're going to open the base world file. It is in the resource section in the top left, the resource browser. So we're going to go into capture and hold, and we're going to go into worlds, and then we're going to go into capture and hold directory. And we want CAH_base world.ent. It happens to be the first one here on the left. So we're going to double click that, and it's going to go ahead and load. Now, keep in mind, this is opening the world editor. This is a separate tab, a separate part of the application here. So we have the main one, and then we have our world editor here. Okay, step 2. In the file context menu, we're going to select the new world option. I apologize for the FPS here. It appears that recording this at the same time is a little taxing here. So top left, new world. Make sure you select sub scene of current world and hit OK. Okay, now we have our basic setup here. What we want to do is use the save world as, and we're going to pick the save destination. So where we're putting this is in the root directory of the folder we created. So I named this, my root folder is capture tutorial. So that is where I'm going to save this. And I'm just going to go ahead and name the file the same thing, capture tutorial.ent, and hit OK. Okay, next we need to get to the island. If you look around, you're just going to see a bunch of water, which it looks beautiful, but I think a capture and hold mission would work a little bit better if we had some ground to run around on. So you can select anything from the left-hand side here, and you can hit F. And what that does is it focuses and brings you to that object. So it's just a quick way to get to the land. Okay, so using right click, you can look around. If you use WASD, that moves you, W and S move you forward and back, A and D left to right. And if you need to change the speed of these movements, you can use the scroll wheel to slow down or to speed it up as well. Okay. So you can look around, find some random spot to set up this capture point. We're just going to use this hill up here, this little lodge, and we will proceed to the next step. So now we're going to be setting up the actual scenario. All right, in the resource browser, which is going to be down here now, we're going to capture and hold, prefabs, MP, modes, capture and hold. All right, and you can see it on the left here, prefabs, MP modes, capture and hold. And we are selecting the game mode underscore capture and hold .et. So there's two in here. You want to select the one on the left and just drag it into the world. So it doesn't matter where you place this, just throw it in there. It's not an actual physical object you have to worry about. We're also going to go into our Arma Reforger folder in the resource browser. And we are going to go to prefabs, MP, managers, factions, and we're going to drag the faction manager underscore USX USSR. It's the last one. And we're going to drag that into the world. And once again, it doesn't matter where it is. This is not a physical object. So these are just kind of, background scripts and things. This is pretty much just giving us the ability to have factions in the game. Yeah, there's logic behind these, but they need to be into the world. The other thing we want to grab while we're here is we're going to go back. You can see on the top of the resource browser, these are buttons. You can go to managers and just press that. And then we're going to go into the loadouts. And we're going to hit the loadout manager for the USX USSR. And we're going to drag that in as well. So we got 3 logic items right off the bat here. And these are going to help set up logic for pretty much the foundation of this mode. We've got factions, we've got the capture and hold mechanics, and we have loadouts. And then there's the next step is for automatic deletion of dead bodies and destroyed vehicles. We're all going to drag another logic item into here. So for this, we're going to close this Arma Reforger part of the browser. We're going to go back into the capture and hold section, and we want to go into our prefabs, and we want to go MP, managers, garbage, and then you want to pick the small garbage manager. So it looks like there's 4 in here. Small is the last one. And we will drop that in. Once again, another piece of logic. It's not a physical object, so it doesn't matter where you place it. And the last thing we're doing right here is placing kind of another logic object, and this is the capture point. So we're going to go back to MP. We're going to go to modes, capture and hold, areas, and we want capture and hold area major. And we're going to drag this in. All right, now it's this nice box here. So we want to say, because this is going to be the actual capture point. So we'll bring it up. And this is where we can use some of the editor tools to make adjustments. So on the top here, we have the rotate button. So we can turn this just so it's kind of lined up with this house. And, it looks nice. We can scale it up. So hit the green here and make it larger. And we can go back and we can move this maybe to the left so it's like on top of the house here. All right, looks beautiful, beautiful. We could pull it up and down if we need to. So we'll pull it up just a little bit there. Okay, so we've got that in the world. We've scaled it up a little bit. Looking good here. And the next thing we're going to set up here are the 2 spawn points. We have US and Russia, which, USSR, which we've already placed the logic for these factions in here. And so now we want to set up 2 spawn points, 1 for each. So these spawn points are in the core, prefabs, MP, spawning. And we have spawn point US and spawn point USSR. They're the last 2. And so we're just going to kind of set this up, nothing too crazy. We're going to throw the US over here. And we're going to throw the USSR over here. Looks great. And as you can see, it just, part of this object has the text. So it shows you which one is which and where they are. And we're going to go ahead and take this opportunity to save. Okay, so we've got basic stuff set up, right? We've got the capture and hold logic in here. We have the faction logic in here, and we have the loadout logic placed into the world. We've also set up a capture zone here in the center right on top of this building. And we have a spawn for US and a spawn for USSR. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and play. Once again, make sure you save first, just in case this crashes on you. Whatever. You always want to save. And we probably should save after each step, maybe multiple times. There's probably an autosave feature that I didn't even check for yet, but saving is important. Up here on the top, we are going to click this drop down and make sure that play from camera position is not checked. You want to play inside viewport, and we're going to go ahead and hit play. And what this is going to do is it's going to take you from the editor and it's going to bring us into the viewport so we can actually test out our game mode here. Now, bear with me. This might be a little choppy because I am recording at the same time. You can see this is the stuff that this is the logic we brought in earlier. Bohemia set up, this foundation layer for us. And then you can use this as you're learning to take pieces apart and look at maybe the script in the background and how they've set these things up, and use that then to create your own game modes or mods. Go ahead and hit continue. We'll go US, continue. And we're just going to pick, that was our loadout thing that we put in earlier, the logic. And then we're going to pick the US point and hit deploy. And here we are. We're in game. We're looking, oh my gosh, look at Enfusion, baby. You look so good. All right. Now we're in game and we've got this giant red thing. And obviously that's our capture point, right? So let's just go ahead and maybe I should have made this closer and, we could go out and do it, but I don't want to load back in. So we'll take a jog. I mean, we do have beautiful scenery here. Some nice rocks here. Some nice foliage. Got the sun beaming down on us. It's a beautiful day, all right? We'll take a quick little jog here. All right, and we arrive at this very out of place red box. And we're going to go up here and we are going to get inside of the box. It's beautiful. And we realize that we are too far away, I think. I think I have to actually bring it down. It might be a centralized point. Okay, so look, it wasn't perfect, okay, but we'll get there. All right, so we need to bring this down because the capture point, obviously it matters where the height of it is. So yeah, that's a big tutorial oof, all right? So we're just gonna make a quick adjustment, all right? Hit escape, we'll go out. Maybe you did it right. And you know what? If you did, I'm proud of you. You're well on your way to making great mods for Arma Reforger and in the future Arma 4. All right, so let's zoom in here. Where do we make a mistake? All right, so look, we've got this square, and our error was we didn't actually take note of that center position. And oh man, we're all in the house now. Look, we're going to put this on the front porch. We're going to make this easy instead of going inside the house. All right, we're now the mission is now to hold the front porch. If you do that, congrats. And since we're going to want to test this again to make sure this is working, we're going to go ahead and look for our US spawn, which is going to be down here on the left. Let's clean this up because we got a whole lot of stuff on this left-hand side here. All right. So, we have this default workspace, and we're going to go ahead and save again. The asterisk means that it's not saved. So we'll save again just to be safe. So what do we need to do? We need to adjust the spawn points, and it'd be nice if we could see it in here, but we can't because it's just logic. But on the left-hand side, we can actually click, and it'll give us the object we want. And you can once again hit F if you want to focus on it. So there's our US spawn point. And because we're going to test this again, although that journey over here was beautiful, we don't want to repeat that for the sake of our time here. So we'll put a spawn point, fairly close here. And we're going to go ahead and spawn back in. And we just want to test just to make sure that the capture point is actually functioning. Once again, go ahead and save. And hit play. Here we are again. And we've got this beautiful view. Look at this. Oh. And we've got a short journey over here to test our capture point. Oh man, I'd love to see a little bit of vaulting. So as we come up to the point, we can see it turns blue, and on the top left, you can see that we are gaining points. All right. Here we got the timer. This is all logic that Bohemia has handed to us. Those are the items we placed in the beginning. And if we step off, it stops. So you have to be pretty close, and that means you got to hold the porch. Now we're going to go ahead and make an adjustment here because now that we know where the area is and we know it's working, we probably want to get rid of this big red block around here. So go ahead and hit escape, and that'll bring us back out of the viewport into edit mode. Hello, welcome back to edit mode. So we want to make an adjustment to this big box. So we'll select the object, and on the right-hand side, you have move, which helps you set position, and you have object properties. And in the object properties, we want to go and uncheck draw shape. And what this is going to do is it's going to remove all this red, this whole red area around here. Now, like I said, when we're developing here, this is extremely useful so we can find areas really quick. But for gameplay purposes, you don't want this giant red box ruining a particularly beautiful environment. So on the right-hand side, we'll scroll down to unsorted category and draw shape, and we're going to uncheck it. So the red is gone. The zone is, the red that shows where the zone is gone, but the object is still here. It's just invisible, right? But if you went onto this porch, into this area, you will start getting points just like we tested a few moments ago. Go ahead and save our changes. All right, and now everything is saved, and it is time to move on to the scenario header. Now, our project is complete for our purposes. We've done the basics. We got to kind of feel around in here, see how things work, but we want to get this set up so that we can test it in Arma Reforger. And this is where a few people were getting tripped up because there are some known issues, and we're kind of working around them a tiny bit for the short term. So what we're going to do is close out of the world editor here. Obviously, make sure you save. It does prompt you if you haven't saved. It'll prompt you and let you know. So you definitely want to save at that point. And what we're going to do is we're going to find our mod on the top left in the resource browser, which is Capture Tutorial. We want to create a new folder, and we're going to call this missions, and hit enter. And inside of missions, we want to create a resource, and it's going to be a config file. You can right click in here, config file. Now you want to name this file, and you can name it whatever. I like to keep my names similar, so I'm just going to name it Capture Tutorial. Hit OK, and importantly, you want to type in this search box. You have to choose a class, SCR _ mission header. All right, so now we have a config file created here. All right, so now we want to open this config file, double click it, and we need to set a world. So we'll hit the dots over here, and we're going to pick our capture tutorial and capture tutorial.ent. And so that's setting what world we want. And then you can name this whatever you'd like. I like to just make mine testing, really big capital letters, so I don't miss it. Author, all of us. This was a group effort, all right? And you can fill out this other stuff if you'd like. One other thing we're going to go over here is the .edds. And for that, I'm going to bring down our known issues. So this is also from the wiki. This link will be in the description, and I highly recommend saving this and checking on it periodically. So current known issues, and we got some stuff going on here, but this is the one that's affecting us. Failed to load meta file of mission config image. All right, when you're making your own mission header, which is what we're doing, the 3 images in the config need to be in your add-on. You cannot reference image files from other add-ons, and you can't leave the defaults. So this is an issue, and we're going to work around this issue. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is I have an image in here. I'm going to bring the image into my folder here, capture tutorial, and I want to hit new folder, and we're just going to make a art folder, and we'll drag our image into there. And you can rename this. This is just a random Reforger image from the internet. Image. Art, image.png, whatever. So you've got it in your art folder, and we're going to come over here. We're going to go back one. We're going to hit refresh, and we'll go into art. And we'll right click and hit register and import on our image. So what this does is it takes our image and it converted it into a EDDS file. Now this file type is just a DDS file. It's an Enfusion, specific one. So it, take whatever image you want, take a picture in game, which is what I did previously, but I actually lost it. So we're just going to use this temporary image for now. This is a test, so it doesn't really matter too much. So now that we have our EDDS image here, it looks good. It's registered and imported. We will click the triple dots next to icon, loading screen, and preview image. And we'll go to capture tutorial art and double click our image. And we'll do the same here. Capture tutorial art. And one more time, capture tutorial art image. Game mode, it doesn't matter, capture and hold. Player count, we'll put it at 2. We'll pretend we actually have one other friend to play with, because just leaving it at 1 is a little bit sad. All right. Now at this point, once again, we have the little asterisk, and we want to hit Control S, and that will save it. And you'll see you down here, save successful. We'll come out to capture tutorial, and we'll right click on missions and hit register, and right click on art, hit register. And I like to Control S again, just to make sure everything's saved, everything's looking good, everything's smelling good. We're all right. So the next step here is going to be in-game test in Arma Reforger. So I'm going to close out of the workshop. I'm going to go into our file here, our capture tutorial. I'm going to right click and copy it. And I'm going to go to my brand spanking new, anywhere you want to put it, Reforger add-ons folder. And I'm going to paste it in there. Now, what's going to happen here is we're pretty much going to tell the game to look in our add-ons folder that we just created. And we're going to tell the game, hey, look in here because there might be something a little spicy, a little nice in here. So go to your Arma Reforger on Steam, click Properties, and in the launch options, we want to set this text. It's right here. And I'm just going to change this last part to capture tutorial. So this last part is where you want your name of your main folder, your root folder. You got all your good stuff inside of this. You want the root folder name. You're telling the game, hey, look in this folder. We got great stuff going on here. And then the rest of this is, dash add-ons directory, in quotations, your path to the main folder here. So if you're at this stage and you're not sure, you can click up here and just copy this, or you can write it out, whatever you need to do. So I'm saying, look in Reforger add-ons. We've got this add-on capture tutorial, and inside it is great stuff. All right, now this is the stage where a lot of people were having issues because there were a couple things going on Bohemia's end, and they're working through it, but this is like a temporary workaround for us. All right, and once you've got that in there, I like to go to another tab, go back just to make sure everything is saved, and then you can close out. And now the moment of truth. We will click on Arma Reforger. All right, now we're in Arma Reforger, and we're going to just go to scenarios, and we're going to see some duplicates. I'm not quite sure why it's doing it at this time, but we're going to scroll down, and we're going to see testing in big capital letters, and the source, none other than capture tutorial. So we'll go ahead and click on this because we're going to go ahead and play it and see. Look at that. Testing by all of us. And we're just going to do a quick check just to make sure everything's functioning correctly still. Here we are in game. Once again, beautiful. Sun's out, guns out, literally. We're going to jump over and run to our favorite porch. And well, look at that. We are capturing the point. Now that's all for this tutorial. I'm not going to show you how to publish this on the workshop, just because this is a very basic, very foundational project here. It's meant to get you comfortable with how things work, how to use the editor, how to do some basic things, and probably most importantly, how to look at this and get into this in Arma Reforger without actually putting it on the workshop. That keeps the workshop from getting cluttered with a bunch of like work in progress, sample, projects we're just going to throw out and let stack up and whatever. So you can test all your stuff here within the actual game, probably get a little bit better performance than playing in the editor. And when you're ready, then you can upload it to the workshop. And in the future, I will upload a video to go over that. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this helped you get through some trouble areas or maybe areas you didn't quite understand. And if you do have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'll do my best to answer you. I will also put a link in the description for the Arma Discord. Highly recommend getting in there. There are Enfusion channels for a variety of topics, from scenarios to modeling to audio to terrain. So definitely get in there and ask your questions, and please search before asking your question, because chances are someone else already asked it, and no one likes repeating themselves over and over and over. We'll go insane. All right. Have a great day. Thank you for watching.